Okay, so we're almost live. I'm just getting the go live up and running into live stream. And okay, now we're live everywhere. Woohoo! So welcome to another Run Wild with us, and you can ask us anything. I'm Lisa Kastner. I am the founder of Running Wild, which now consists of Running Wild, Rise, Trompe l'oeil, and Junkyard Rooster. And myself, and typically at least one or two of our other editors, are here with you on Thursdays between 5 and 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern time, and you can ask us whatever you want. Now, what's fabulous about that is I was actually on a call the other day with a bunch of other entrepreneurs, and I thought that the gentleman who was hosting the call kind of put this perfectly. He spoke about the fact that the reality is for anything that's like an independently owned and operated organization, we actually do everything. We do the strategy, we do the line edits, right? We get water. We clean the floors, and then we go out and we meet with like heads of state, right? So what is so wonderful about us being here to answer any of your questions, you're actually getting an opportunity to basically talk to everybody in our organization regarding seriously, we have our hands in everything, which is fabulous. I don't know, I think it's fabulous. So if you have any questions, all you have to do is go into whatever venue you may be watching us and go into the comments section. Typically what will happen is in the comments section, we will both project it onto the screen, and what you will see is I'll repeat the question, and then for those who are on the call, we will each take turns responding to whatever questions you may have. So I don't know, I think that's kind of fabulous. I know that before I had started Running Wild, before we had really taken off, I know that I would have died to have this kind of opportunity. So I definitely encourage you to really take advantage of it. What I've also done is I'm in my office, and honestly, this really reflects what I was just speaking about, the fact that we kind of do everything. Once upon a time, my office before I started Running Wild, it was literally just a guest room in my home. And once we started Running Wild, and our other guest room that we have is actually my husband, or one of our other guest rooms is my husband's office as well. My husband is a musician and a producer, so he set up this fabulous studio for himself when he's working from home. Anyway, so when I made this an actual office, it still has, we still have the guest bedroom with our super teddy bear in it. I still have tons of, as you'll see, boxes and paperwork, and I mean, you name it. So definitely, just so again, you get a little bit more of a flavor of what it is like to be part of a small publication. And yay, I'm not alone. I'm here.
You're never alone.
Yay!
I can't see you.
So,
No, that's better.
how are you doing, young man?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. For anyone who's watching, we had a private kickoff of our official, I guess you could say, 10th year last week, where we invited basically everybody from behind the scenes and anyone who's been like a big backer of ours to my home to get their party on. And Ben couldn't make it, which honestly, I'm in Los Angeles. This young man is in New Mexico, so it's not surprising that he was unable to join. But I think it was good. I think actually we had a really good turnout. I was surprised at how many people turned out. Um and then we actually, a lot of what was announced at the party, we then announced it on Monday of this week to the general public. So if anyone didn't have a chance to check that out, I'll just put a link to the presentation in the chat so you can check it out whenever you want. And I know this is going to sound silly, so I gave away gift bags, and what people seemed to be the most excited about was everyone also got a rubber chicken.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, priorities, right? So yeah, everybody got a mini rubber chicken in their gift bag. So so how are you doing? I feel like I haven't seen you here in Forevsky.
It's been 12 weeks.
Oh my God. It's like you have a life.
Well, yeah, this is it. I missed it.
So what did you do during those 12 weeks?
Oh, well, I had a Thursday night class. Well, Thursday evening class, and then by the time I got home, it was too late. And so that was 12 weeks worth of teaching that got in the way.
Got it. Was it
But everyone passed. Everyone survived. I'm calling it victory.
I can't imagine anyone not surviving a class with you. I'm just saying.
It would take they just disappear. The ones that don't pass disappear for whatever reason.
Got it.
Life gets in their way as well.
I see. So what has been like the hardest class that you've taught?
As far as teaching it goes?
Uh-huh.
But it's not necessarily the class. It's usually the class of students.
Oh, okay.
If the students don't come in with energy, all the energy has to come from me.
Ooh,
which
that's
is
hard.
which I can do, but it's a lot easier when the students bring energy into. And my 2 face-to-face classes this past semester, were both filled with high energy students. So they were good. Yeah.
Cool. That's
Even
awesome.
the one that was in the evening at 5 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, it was you'd expect a 5 o'clock class to come in kind of late in the day and dragging, but they came in ready to go. They had stuff to say and said it.
Now, how long was the class? From like 5 to 6 or like 5 to
6:15,
7?
yeah, 5 to 6:15.
Okay, that's not too bad. That like, because then they know, like, they get done, they'll go home, they get their eat on.
Yeah. Yes.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. And what's been your favorite class to teach?
Probably the global business class, because it gets to make points about what's going on.
Okay.
From tariffs to culture.
Understood. Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and usually good conversations.
Okay, that's very cool. Now I want to take your class.
Well, you're more than welcome.
Cool.
And
I'm trying to.
I would like to see that. That's always been since it kind of became my class to teach. It's been online. I'd like to get it face to face.
Oh.
Because you may not believe this because you've never seen it, but I am more lifelike in person.
You mean you're a human being?
3-dimensional. I am more 3-dimensional in person.
Oh my God.
That's true. It's true.
Wow. Very cool.
And I can display some energy online, but it's not the same.
No. Oh no, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I prefer to I don't I haven't taught like a class in
Yeah.
ages, but just in terms of like speaking engagements, I definitely, because you can also like lift the room up if
Yes.
you've got a lot of energy, you know.
Yeah.
It's just that because I'm an introvert, by the time I'm done, depending on how long the session is, I'm like, I'm gonna go hide in my room.
Yes. I have pretended long enough.
Exactly. I have to say, did you know that someone stole No Fucks Given and put it on eBay?
I saw Tim mention that in Europe. Was it in Europe that they
Yeah,
got it?
yeah. In the UK. I have no idea. And now I'm gonna have to find a copy of it.
Yeah.
So people on the call know what I'm talking about, or on the live stream, so you guys know what I'm talking about. So one of the first books we're publishing in 2026 was edited by Ben, and it's called No Fucks Given. By,
Which is worth buying just for the title alone.
I know, and the cover is killer.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was written by nobody effing important.
Well, that he picked that. That's not on us.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
And it
That's
is
him.
it's reflective of, well, I mean, you actually, why don't you tell everybody like what's it about and like
Well,
why
it's actually the first of a at least two books, and I think he's thinking about a third to make it a trilogy. But the first, I always get it mixed up. But the first one is outgoing. The second one will be incoming.
Yes.
But the outgoing part is the story of a all-American kid from Tampa who gets wrapped up in the patriotic fervor after 9/11 and joins the Army, joins the National Guard, and is deployed into Iraq. And just the enlightenment that comes with that experience. And the author's background is in journalism, so it's creative nonfiction fiction, if that makes sense. But there are points. Well, it's all well written, but there are points when he hits a plane where you just jump in and hang on, and it takes you for a ride. And
it's, as he so eloquently puts it, it's all true, but he basically changed everyone's names because, like, I still haven't finished reading it because I swear, Ben, I get through the first third and I'm just having nightmares every night. I mean, seriously, because when you read it, it's like, this can't be real. And then you realize as you're reading it, no, this is real.
Yeah.
And I was never in the military, but my first husband was actually former military, and I've had plenty of friends who've been in the military, and I gotta tell you, there's no way you wouldn't have PTSD after 1 hour of being in the situation that he's describing just in that first chapter.
Yes. And it's really a great depiction of what people are thanking service members for when they say thank you for your service.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they don't know. They you might guess, or you might see a movie and say, well, that's what it's all about. But unless you've seen it or been around it, you don't know what you're thanking them for.
Well, and I really think the fact that he really nails home or keeps bringing home the point of, he was just a kid.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
And, he was all hyped about like, I'm going to do this for my country. And then what he thought he was going to be handed, and then where he actually ended up. I mean, it's not even comparable.
No.
And he, the fact that, I mean, this is our reality. And this is the reality of anyone who has been exposed to being deployed in any capacity. I mean, honestly, like part of the reason I never joined the military was because I was like, I would never get out of training camp because I am so, like, I work out all the time, but I'm not good at, like, I was the kid who was on the lacrosse team, and I never got out of the junior league because I could barely, like, what do you call it? What's not crust? Cradle. I could barely cradle a ball in my lacrosse stick. And then I was lucky if I could even run. Let's just put it there. Like it's like my running is everybody else's fast walking, right? So I was like, I wouldn't even make it out of, training camp. So, but then knowing what people who had the courage to even just go through training camp, and who had the courage to really, you're basically giving up your lives for that period of time while you're in the military, and it's never going to leave you once you're out.
Yeah. You don't, even though you're counting down the days to discharge, you never really get discharged, and you never make it back totally. There's no going back.
And
that goes. That's the different, varying degrees of experience impact that. But even just joining, you're guaranteed not to make it back to some extent.
No, you're definitely not going to make it back as the person that you were when you
That's
first entered. There's
right.
No way. No way.
You leave that person behind. Sometimes that's a good thing.
Well, I mean, and he honestly, again, he quite eloquently points that out as well. There were aspects of the person who first went into the military to fight the 9/11, the war on terror, and who I think he wanted to get rid of in a lot of ways, or he wanted to change. I think that's a better way of putting it, right?
Right.
But like, oh my God, seriously, I really haven't finished it because after I read it like 2 nights, I was having nightmares, and I'm like, I don't know any. I'm one of those people, like, I start actively thinking as I'm dreaming, and I deconstruct, like, okay, so that's my brain processing that I had ice cream yesterday, and that's my brain processing that I had this conversation, blah, blah, blah. And when I hit certain things, which I will not reveal because it'll reveal too much about the first like few chapters, but I was like, I don't know anything about this kind of thing, and I'm just completely horrified. And that's when I went, oh.
Yeah. Which is an added dimension to the book it is. And it's not just there I was in the Humvee and it blew up and rolled over and then the heroes came in. It's not that kind of book at all. It doesn't have it. There's no screen. There is no screen, and it's raw by design, and that made it fun to edit.
Well, and I mean, so why don't you tell everyone, why did you elect to be the editor for this?
It was the main thing was I knew what he was talking about, and I had known the author before. Complete transparency, I knew him before, and but to know his experience and get him to write that experience with, and I had been familiar with his writing, so I knew that he has that plane that he can hit, and that's where you jump in and hang on that plane, and it's funny, it's horrifying, and it's at the same time, it's funny and horrifying at the same time, and it's true throughout it. It's true. And the writing is true. We'll paraphrase Hemingway. If the writing is true, but it really is, and it makes that book, that rawness makes it real. And it's if you're looking for a Navy SEAL heroics or sniper heroics, you're in the wrong book, because it goes way beyond that level of a war novel.
I mean, it's very some would even argue that it's more on the literary side, because it is so like not that it's not active, it's quite active.
Yeah.
But he does a lot of intellectual deconstruction and emotional deconstruction throughout the work, that it forces you to really think, So
And
hey,
I think
Peter,
it goes back to his journalism background and the writers he admires influence that greatly.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Peter, we're talking about No Fucks Given.
Okay. I was thinking Stephen Ambrose, but okay, cool.
It's because when we first came on, I mentioned that someone from the UK stole a paperback of it and put it on eBay, and they're trying to sell it for at least $10 more than what people will be able to get it for in January. So that's kind of curious to me.
Iron copy. Wild.
Yeah. Well, it's just it's interesting. I'm really curious. I'm interested to see where this goes, because I did make it one of the featured titles with our distributor.
Yeah.
And I thought they were going to tell me we weren't allowed to call it No Fucks Given. Because don't use foul language, and I got no pushback.
Day and age.
But I mean, seriously,
I thought it might be mild.
I mean, you don't know. Every once in a while, I'll get pushback, but it's honestly, we never get pushback on our titles from the head of sales. It's usually by someone, to be really catty, who's more junior, and they just they haven't actually necessarily read the entire work, so they don't get why it's called what it's called. But that very rarely happens.
Yeah,
very rarely. So I think they finally took it down. I'm on eBay now to see if it's still here. There's a lot of t-shirts that say No Fucks Given. But I don't see any books. Oh no, it's still there. Oh my God, he's trying to sell it now for $45, almost $46. And we already reported it. And now they're saying they've got 3 available.
Oh wow.
Wow. For some reason, I can't seem to report it, and I know the author did. Oh my God, that's so messed up. Wow. I'm sorry. So, Peter, what are you up to?
I don't know. I mean, there's this big holiday coming up, and I'm just so behind on so many things. Just trying to keep up. I'm still in a Elizabethan boarding school for girls, working my way through that, working on my novel. I haven't seen this gentleman in months. So how you doing, Ben?
It is good to see you. And the big scene.
The house is coming together finally, so we're starting to feel moved in, which is good. It's only been 3 months. Yeah, 3 months. So
Yeah. Yeah, because you just put it up on the market 12 weeks ago before my class took me away.
We sold last summer and bought this place in September.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on the southwest coast of Florida right now.
Yeah.
So just bought our second golf cart. We had one on the northeast corner, northeast coast of Florida. Now we've got one on the southwest coast.
Wow.
So yeah, currently I've hit that age. Golf cart community.
Just so you know, you've got a package coming for you.
You? Oh, okay.
Well, Ben already knows he's got one coming. I just didn't tell you yet. So you've got a package coming for you.
Okay. Cole, probably, right?
Well, I don't know. You'll get to tell me if it's worth it. or if you like it in any way, shape, or form. So
Thanks.
yeah. Nah. It's what Ben, what'd you call it? An early Christmas present? Christmas came early?
Yes, it's almost like Christmas.
Yeah. So
Oh, there's no snow where any of us live, right? You're in Arizona, you're in LA, I'm in Florida, so
yeah. Yeah. That's
we're having above normal weather temperatures.
Really?
Yeah, it's 52 right now at 6:30. So it hit 60.
Oh wow. Yeah,
60 plus today.
We've been below normal. We've been like mid to high 40s to maybe 60s. But I think that's starting to change now. So
about average, mid to high 70s, low 80s.
yeah. Oh, today actually got up to 77. That's actually that's more normal for here. So yeah, Peter, you just actually your description of being underwater completely matches mine. We just had we had our weekly get together with the editors, and I was like, oops, I forgot to do that. Oops, I forgot to do that. So just try to knock out as much as I could.
Yeah, unfortunately, the authors I'm working with have been very patient, except for one, and that was their mistake.
Yep.
But yeah, I want to finish this. I've got a couple more to work on. Then I'm going to start hitting look for Trompe l'oeil titles. I'm really excited about getting that going.
Cool. Oh, and don't forget, both of you, let me know if you want us to send any titles out to any of our editors for them to consider to edit. So
definitely, yeah, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, always.
Yeah, I had a picked, and I was about a month behind. The author said it had been picked up somewhere else, so I'm still in the selection phase.
That's not bad.
Yeah, we got it narrowed down to a handful, which is really good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm impressed with us because in the past we typically it's taken a lot longer for us to get through our acquisition portion. So yeah. All comes with time, I guess.
Keep improving that process.
We do. We keep improving that process. So and then for anybody who's watching, don't forget, you have any questions for us, go ahead, pop those questions into the comments section. I will repeat whatever said question is and then we will take turns in responding to said question. And don't forget, you've also right now, you have on this call the head of Trumploy, the head of Junkyard Rooster, and then I just do whatever anyone tells me to do. So, but you've got some pretty decent, knowledgeable folks on the call to ask questions of. And also don't forget, and I mentioned this in the very beginning, but in case you weren't on at the time, I was actually on a call the other night for entrepreneurs, and they were talking about the fact that, you know, especially for smaller businesses, you know, the people who are in charge are also the people who are cleaning the floors, and they're the same people who are, you know, washing the windows and, you know, doing all the line edits. They're the same people who are going out there and, you know, meeting with heads of state, right? Because it's a small business, the reality is that you got to do a little of everything. So the real advantage for that is A, you get pretty efficient because you have to be, and B, it means we all have a lot of experience in a wide variety of areas. So, you know, we can actually answer questions in a multitude of spaces, anything from, you know, actual editing to, you know, the craft of writing to marketing, publicity to, I mean, honestly, seriously, anything. And if we don't have an answer, we'll tell you, I don't know, right? And we'll get back to you with something. And that's the other big advantage as well, is the fact that because we've been around for over 10 years, and we were all around in the publishing and writing industry for so long prior to that. If we don't have an answer, that means we know somebody who does. So, you know, we can always reach out to someone with whom we have a relationship with and just ask them, like, you know, hey, I got to ask this question and I you know, I don't really have an answer for it. Can you help me out? And then we'll come back next time with the answers to those questions. So just something to keep in mind. Oh, Rod says, I was browsing about and saw a clip show Ben was on. Ben, hello there.
Ben's on TV now?
I was going to say, Ben, what'd you do?
Yeah, it's good to be missed.
So what'd you do? Come on, give it up.
I was indoctrinating young minds into my way of thinking.
Of course.
Actually, when I teach, I tell my students, I don't want you to think like me. I just want you to think. And that opens the door for a lot of good conversations.
Actually, I love that statement.
Yeah. But with the questions, Lisa, the questions we get, there's really no cookie cutter answer to a lot of the questions we get.
Agreed.
Because there's so many different variables that impact how well a book does or doesn't do. And sometimes it's just a great book doesn't mean that it's going to be a bestseller. But that's just the marketing wasn't right or didn't get in the right hands. The marketing was right and still didn't get in the right hands, get the right attention. So there's no cookie cutter answer, but there's insights.
Well, and it's interesting that you mentioned that, because like I was reading about the author who wrote Out of Africa and how, you know, it was based on her own life, and she wrote it under a pseudonym, and it got like zero attention when it first went out, and then it got in the hands of somebody, and it's just one of those that it just kept getting recommended and recommended and recommended and recommended. And then I think it was finally, it was nominated for like, not the Pulitzer, but something along those lines. and it didn't win. But the one that did win, when he went on stage, he actually said, I should not have won this. It should have been Out of Africa.
Oh wow.
And right. And I honestly, I oftentimes feel like, because we are so I think we all have great instincts personally. And I think we're all very and I know you guys will jump in at any point if you're like, she's full of shit, right? Which is fine. But like we all play off each other very well. And I include our broader community in that as well. And I think because of that, the end products that we put out there oftentimes are they're brilliant. It's gorgeously written, wonderful story, or if it's more like a hardcore genre in some capacity, it's, in my opinion, again, it's arguable that this is like among the top of that genre. Again, probably has a bit more of a literary leaning to it, considering all of our backgrounds. But I can't think of a single book we've published that wasn't a page turner. So to Ben, to your point, so many books out there, they're just simply not known, not because the marketing was bad or the PR was bad or there was something wrong with the book. Oftentimes it's simply for whatever reason it didn't catch, during that time. And there's a ton of examples of books that didn't catch even while the author was alive, but caught, after the author passed away for something bizarre. Like, there was a random copy in a library and someone picked it up and went, oh my God, this is fabulous. And it just kept taking, So Rod Gilly says, getting people to actually think is a bold and wonderful challenge. You're certainly the right man for the task. I would argue Ben and Peter are both absolutely the right people for that task, because they are both excellent at providing feedback in such a manner where it might hurt a little when you first hear it, but it's done in such a way that it forces you to say, okay, well, no, I get that. I can see that. Right. And I hope, in my opinion, I think all of our editors have that capability, hence why they are part of the Running Wild family. So.
And the conversations that we've had among editors proves that, because if it comes down to making a suggestion to an author that they know is going to have that hurtful impact, temporary as it is, we'll talk about it. And I know Peter and I have talked about how to give feedback to authors. Rodolfo and I have talked about it, and many others that we've talked about how to frame the suggestion to make it focus on the book's improvement and keep the author's feelings. I was going to say ego, but feelings out of it, and which is the book does that for you. If the book is the best it can be for as wide of an audience as possible, that's what we're shooting for. And to frame feedback in the perspective of a reader is a positive thing anyway. And say you just lost your reader with this paragraph. Do you need it? This is because I'm your reader. I'm editing as a reader, and I'm reading it, and you lost me. So what can we do?
Right. And we're not looking to make the books better for ourselves in the
Yeah.
least. I mean, editing is one of the most humble things I do because it's not egocentric whatsoever. It's to make your book, the author, their book, their writing, their art that much better in ways that they may have not even realized, ways that they haven't even conceived of because they don't see it the way an outsider sees it. I mean, they're writing their narrative, they're writing their story, and they don't realize that it's 4, 5, 6 pages of just dialogue. I mean, that kills the story because it's not a script. You need scene, you need description, you need the five senses involved on a regular basis. And when you're carried away as an author, and we all do this, or at least I do this, is first 2, 3, 4, 5 drafts. I mean, I'm hung up on what I see in my mind. I need to pull back and take a look at it from a world view to say, what does this story need as a story? And I mean, I sometimes I feel like I should apologize because I'm nowhere near as nice as Ben or Lisa when it comes to leaving comments. But it's like when I'm wrapped up in a story, I'm like, you just threw me out. I mean, you just threw your reader out of the story because you started thinking about this, then you swapped to that, then you swapped to that, and we're still wondering what happened to this. So it's like now we don't have any. Now we're not in the story's world anymore. We're sitting going. I'm reading a book and I'm trying to figure out what's going on the page, and that just kills the momentum. And the main thing you want to do is keep the reader wrapped, keep them involved in your story, involved in your characters, and waiting with bated breath on what's going to happen next, kind of thing,
Well, and it's funny. Cecilia made this comment last week, how she feels like the stories that she has been editing with us, they just get more and more complex. And for her, it's that's not a bad thing, right? It's more that she's able to assist that author in really fulfilling their whatever their vision is for that narrative. And a lot of times, I think, Peter, to your point, authors come into something and they don't realize all the layers they're bringing to it. And since I think all of us go into it, yes, as an editor, but as an editor who's very well versed in craft and in storytelling, we are able to read it as a reader and say, okay, you lost me here. Maybe think about doing X, right? Or, this part, this is great information for you. And this actually came up at a writer's coffee house I attended the beginning of this month. Someone asked about, like, I wrote this great part and I went off on a tangent about a sub character, right? A secondary character. So what do I do? And I'm like, well, I think you kind of answered your own question. If you did not follow through with the narrative associated with that secondary character, it does not fulfill something in that primary narrative, then it gets killed. This is information you needed for that secondary character, so that when you write scenes and as you continue drafting that narrative, you understand what this character has to do with that greater story. So if you went off on a tangent about, a secondary character going off to Tahiti and getting his party on, and this is all about something occurring in like Washington, D.C., and there's no connection, then guess what? You don't need it. That was great for you. But maybe if you feel as though it fits for the story itself, have a sentence about it, but don't go off on a tangent for paragraphs or pages. Rod Gilly said, sorry, go ahead.
Just those are instances where you need to kill your darlings because you let it infuse the story. But like you said, a line or two is a simple reference that carries more meaning than 2 or 3 pages of exposition.
Absolutely. Rod Gilly says, I make it clear day one with my authors that we are a team with the same goal, never against one another. Collaboration is the key, and once that is locked in, things go smoothly. 100%. You know, I can't think of a single, well, I can't make that statement, but I hope that most publishers, when they acquire a story, they're acquiring it because they actually want the story, not because they want to, you know, completely change it and alienate the author, right? That should never, ever, ever be the intent. I can't, you know, our vetting process, and Rod's experienced this as well. You know, you got to go through a test before you can work for us. And we have had people who didn't pass. And it's not just because it's not that they didn't know how to edit. It's not that they didn't necessarily know what to do. It's that their approach to editing did not fit that more of a collaborative process. And so, you know, honestly, in some cases, I thought, wow, you would be great for like a journal, you know, or like a newspaper where it's you know, you're editing out, you know, a news article of some sort.
Yeah.
But, you know, writing something that's or editing something that's heavy in craft and where it's an original narrative, this may not be effective. So cool. Great comments, Rod. Thank you.
And some of that writing is, you know, killing your darlings. Sometimes you gotta make your darlings go to work. If you're not going to kill them, they've got to do something. Mm-hmm. And it's the Chekhov rifle in the first chapter. Chekhov said, if you got a rifle in the first chapter, somebody had better fired it by the third chapter, and otherwise you don't need it. And that's simple advice, but it's storytelling. It's those Easter eggs that Lisa always talks about. Mm-hmm. They've got to be found, and they've got to be good.
Exactly. Oh yeah. And you know, now I admit, sometimes if someone's brought in a rifle and they haven't used that rifle by the third chapter, I'll point out, hey, this might be a good point.
To either fire it or go back and get rid of it.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, that's one of the fun parts of writing, is that the different elements and the different images that you put into the story have impact. And the more meaning they can have throughout the paragraph, throughout the chapter, throughout the story, the more important they are for the story as it goes along. Because it gives the reader a little anchor to hold on to, because, oh, what's this mean? What's this mean? Oh, there's a rifle here. Okay, well, now I can anticipate something happening. And I mean, a good writer can keep that tension going third, fourth, fifth paragraph, or fourth, fifth chapter, but they've got to keep referencing it so it's not forgotten. So it's almost like a member of the cast in the story, a character in the story, so that it's not well, here's a rifle. It's like, no, you don't just throw a rifle in there. That's a lethal, connotations. What are you going to do with it? And I see a lot of authors miss it. They just throw stuff in there like, oh, well, he took a wrong turn like a London bus. I'm like, okay, I'm on page 400. Where's the reference for the London bus? That was such a clear, distinct image. How does it play out within the story? If they make sense within the story, then they mean so much more for the reader, for the reading experience. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's true as well if you're writing sequels, or if you're writing something that it may not be, maybe it's not officially a series, but it has the same characters in different books. If there is something significant about that character or about their narrative that you mention in previous books, having, even if you don't follow through with it in subsequent books, as long as you at least reference some aspect of it, so that so to Ben's point, Easter eggs, right? So those who've read previous books, they'll see that Easter egg and go, ooh, yes. Oh, wow, cool, right? But those who are not familiar with it, and they just won't recognize the Easter egg for what it is. And that's okay. That's not a thing, right?
Yeah, I think that's layered storytelling, and
Mhm.
and there's layered readers. And some readers are going to skim along the surface, and some are going to get the layered complexities that are in the story itself. And as long as they buy the book, we don't care.
Right? Yeah.
Whatever
Rod says,
reader you are, but that also re- should remind the authors that readers do skim. And if you are writing the sections that they skim over, take it out. If they're going to skim over and not miss anything anyway, what's it adding? What value is it adding? It may be taking away energy from your story, from your book.
Rod says, I confess I've had one writer I simply could not work with, and two who learned as we went. Halfway through, they were experts and wouldn't consider editing suggestions at all. He's currently at a 57-3, which is a decent record. And Rod's just curious, do we each have similar records?
There was one writer that he was a poet. And actually I learned a lesson from that editing, because I was editing his poetry with my cadence, and that was a mistake. And he picked up on it right away. He said, that's you're not hearing it right. And so that actually helped me be a better editor when I lost that writer. And Running Wild Press didn't lose him. I just lost him as an author, as his editor. But the book was still published. But it was a lesson learned that especially in poetry, there are different cadences that need to be considered. And even in novels, the first, I'll say half, it doesn't take that long, but the first half of the book is picking up on the author's cadence, the way they are using commas to slow the reader down or not slow the reader down, and the techniques that they use. A lot of authors like colons, semicolons, M dashes, and they start using those tools, and as long as they're consistent, I pick up on that and say, when it comes up when they're not using it, that's the suggestion. Why did you change your technique or your tool that you've made the reader get used to? And say, well, I got tired of using it. Well, don't use it at all then. Go back and take them all out. But it's those kind of conversations that make the relationship rewarding, but ultimately to make the book the best it can be in those conversations at that time.
Absolutely. How about you, Peter?
I've lost a couple authors. One was right from the quick, because he was a nonfiction author, and I tried to give him some advice that may have been ill-advised, because I pointed out a nonfiction book that I greatly admire, and he took such offense at that, saying that, why would you edit my work by showing me a different author's work?
Oh my.
I was disturbed by that, because this is someone who made it work. This is someone who did it very, very well. And I mean, if you're writing in a vacuum where you're not reading anybody else's stuff, you're missing out on the entire world of literature. I mean, I wasn't insulting him. I was saying, okay, let's start here and go to theirs. See what we can do with your book, because I didn't say this was a subject, because obviously you missed out on a lot of stuff that I liked in the book that I'm showing you. He's like, well, you're showing me a book that's already published, that I'm better than that, obviously, so I'm walking away from the press.
Oh my. Woo!
That was one of my first ones. That Lisa's like, she calmed me down. She's like, that's not you, that's him. I'm like, all right, because this has not happened to me before. And you completely agree with me in terms of how I approached it, because I wasn't being offensive, I wasn't being rude or inconsiderate, but just like you were walking away from a book contract because you have a dispute with an editor because your ego is too big to be shown that someone has done it right already. I didn't learn how to do what I can do with writing and editing by writing by myself. I learned by going to conferences, by going to classes, by going to school, by going to everything I could go to, read as much as I can. And I'm still reading and I'm still learning. You know, I'm not. This is not. I tried to do it on my own and I fell flat on my face. So that's why I started doing all these other things and developed the rich network that I've got. That Lisa was talking about, the context that we have, because I got out there. I was a part of it. I learned and I listened. And if you're not willing to listen, then then we can't edit you. As Rod just said, two of his writers got to be too big in the head and stop listening to him. Well, then you're not going to improve. I mean, you pretty much plateaued where you're at.
Yeah, and I don't think I personally have lost. I've had authors that I didn't think I would be the best editor for them, and I would point them to someone else who I thought would be more effective. We've had a couple, and it was funny. This came up a couple nights ago. We had a couple of of authors who the editor went through the entire editing process and they got to the point of it being about ready for publication. And the author pulled out and decided they wanted to self-publish. We've had about 3 of those. And oftentimes the author would call me and just really upset, right? Usually it's, I've been working on this for X number of years and, now it's down to this version. And they always had some reasoning for it. And, if someone does that, first of all, your contract is set up in a way that you don't get paid as the author a certain amount until it's basically in production. And that's why this came up, because I was talking to one of our upcoming authors. And the reason that language is put in there is because we have had that experience. Again, not frequently. Again, 3 times over 10 years is not a big amount. And typically what the reason they did it is they thought that they had a stronger platform outside of Running Wild or Rise. And they felt as though they could actually sell the book much more independently. And as far as I know, in every situation, they were lucky if their cousin bought it. I mean, it sold so few books. Because they just didn't understand what it takes to get a book to market, how you actually get a book in the library, how you actually get a book into the school systems, how you get books into stores in Canada, how you get them overseas. They had no concept of that. They had just heard all the buzz in the independent publishers world or independent authors world and thought, oh, well then I'm going to go be a bajillionaire, screw you. And I'm out, I don't think I've ever had anyone directly run away. But again, if I could tell from our interactions, because, before the book even goes to market or goes into contract, I'm probably the one who has the most exchange with that author, unless one of us knew the author beforehand. So, I get a better sense of if our personalities are going to work together well. And if I don't think it will, I'll, I pass them on to someone I think would do a better job. So, Rod says, only a fool feels he has nothing more to learn. You are brilliant, Ben. He forgot to say, so's Peter, but that's fine. The author's ego was bigger than all of us together. His loss. Yeah, and it's funny. Everyone always learns, after they've, at least I think, had an experience like that. They typically, gain a greater understanding. And then Rod says, so wonderful to see each of you. Wishing you super happy holidays. as always, wonderful to see you too. And holy shit, it's already 6 o'clock. So, well, before we jump off, I don't know, Ben, Peter, do you guys want to leave anybody with anything?
Keep writing. Keep writing. Keep the art alive. Keep the spirit going.
Yeah, and know that even some top-notch bestsellers have editing mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they've been edited and edited and edited. So don't think that even though you've read it 75 times, that it's complete. There's always some polish that can go in. Another set of eyes adds value.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So with that, we will say adieu. We will not be here next week due to the holiday. And I'm just double checking the calendar. Sorry about this, guys. Yeah, we won't be here on Thursday. And we will not be here on New Year's Day because I think these guys would kill me. So we'll see you. We will see everybody. 2 weeks. You'll be too hungover. I'm gonna be hiding in my bed. I'm just saying.
On the 8th of January, because after 12 weeks, coming back one time, I got to take 2 weeks off.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Well, we will see you guys January 8th. Have a fabulous holiday.